Welcome back to your favorite food podcast, Food FAQ.
Yay!
I need a little energy from you, okay, honey?
Yay!
You sound like a mystery movie, or what do they call it? Like a horror movie? Did you see that Katy Perry video?
No.
It's like Rosemary's Baby, right? And it's like dark, and it's she's going through her nursery and she's showing people all the things that she bought, like for the baby, and she's like making noises like that. She was like, "Look at these shoes." She looks absolutely crazy, and you just did a perfect impersonation of her.
I'm glad I'm good for something.
Yeah, and now that they're thinking about banning TikTok, how will I know these tidbits of information without it?
Oh, that's my addiction at nighttime.
Girl, like, I don't want to live without it.
Scrolled through the TikToks.
Right? And how many times do we send each other TikToks?
All day.
All day, because there's so much good information there. I'd be really sad if it's gone. It's like my favorite. Like,
you know what I love about TikTok? I don't have a lot of patience for videos.
Me neither.
Like when people are on YouTube and it's like a 45-minute video to teach me how to fucking boil noodles.
Yes.
And I don't care about your life story.
I
don't. This is why we make our podcast relatively short, because
right.
I mean, I know we're funny and hysterical.
I mean, I barely have the patience for your ass. See? That's why we have to be mean to each other. Otherwise, we'd fall asleep.
It's like, can we get to this shit already?
It's not shit. It is the United States' most formidable podcast on food preparation for the home cook. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, that is true.
You know, and today, you know, we've been talking about spring, and we're not going to lie to you guys. Like, we're not going to bullshit you. Spring is the most fucking non-inspiring holiday.
I don't like eating flowers.
What?
I don't like eating flowers.
Who's eating flowers?
Well, because that's what I think of with springtime. I think of like floral shit, and I don't like eating it. Yeah. So I don't know how well spring is going to do for us. We're still going to talk about delicious food, but I'll be honest, I got a lot more summer ideas than I do fucking spring ideas. So
Amen.
We're going to, I'm sorry, we're going
to give you the things that we actually like. Yeah.
Okay. But our forte really is summer, fall, and winter.
Yeah. Agreed. So bear with us. But today we have a little something that, you know, I was thinking today, Keter, that I feel like this cake that you made, it's an Earl Grey cake, which if you've never had Earl Grey, you should order an Earl Grey latte at the Starbucks because it is really yummy. Have you ever had one there? I mean, anywhere it's the same shit.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I love an Earl Grey latte.
Okay. So here's the deal. No, don't do that. This is what you're going to do.
You're such a tea bitch.
Okay. So for the public, I worked in the tea industry for 8 years. Okay. So here's the deal. If you really want good Earl Grey tea, go to adagio.com, Adagio Teas, or maybe it's adagioteas.com, and go ahead and order yourself loose leaf Earl Grey tea. Now, that is not the company that I worked for. I worked for previous companies, but Adagio has a really good selection of teas. And I am not paid to say this right now, although they are more than welcome to pay us to say that.
I'll make tea fucking everything.
Seriously. So Adagio Teas, go get real tea. Starbucks is crap.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just going to try it.
You can buy a couple ounces for a couple dollars. They send you free stuff all the time when you buy stuff.
You know what?
I'm telling you, it is fantastic.
Better yet, you can make it at home. It's called a London Fog is what it's called. I couldn't remember. It's called a London Fog. You literally just steam a little milk, you sweeten it, and you add it to your Earl Grey tea. It's and a little vanilla. I like to add a little vanilla to it. And it's delicious.
Okay, no one cares about that, Mariella. We're talking about getting good Earl Grey tea, okay? First of all, Earl Grey, by the way, is a really inexpensive tea.
Right.
So just let you know, it is actually really on the very, very cheap side of when it comes to whole loose leaf tea. But go get the tea. Go get one of their tea makers. You want to make sure that tea can open up and unfurl. So a tea ball is not the best either. But if you got that, just use it. And if you really want to have steep Earl Grey tea, it's a black tea, so it does about 20% caffeine to a cup of coffee. So it's going to give you a little bit of caffeine boost. It's really good for the afternoon. It is traditionally a breakfast tea, but it is great for the afternoon. It has bergamot in it, which gives you a citrus flavor.
I love that.
And you steep it at 195-degree water for about 3 to 4 minutes. So just underboiling for 3 to 4 minutes. And that's it. And you want to use 1 teaspoon of tea per 8 ounces of water. So there you go.
Things about you that I love. And these random things that you say with so much authority, it really gets me going. So thank you.
Calm down, Mariella. You got a man already.
Rare.
You had a chance. I don't know. Never did.
No, I never had a chance. What are you talking about? Come on, man.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So you made this Earl Grey.
I made an Earl Grey chocolate chip bundt cake with a cream cheese rum frosting on it.
You're a bunt, number one.
Your face is a bunt.
Number two, I feel like this cake is like self-care.
It really is a very easy cake. And when I go over it, so when you read the instructions of this cake, it seems going to be a little bit difficult, but it's not. It actually is really easy.
Simple.
And I'm going to go step by step on how simple this is.
Sure. Okay. Go for it.
And so what you're going to do, and just let you know, this cake, by the way, when you make it, you actually don't really need icing to it. You can dust powdered sugar on it, and it's just really good. And I would like everybody to know, I went out and bought a fucking bundt pan just for this cake.
You were seriously.
I was serious. I was absolutely serious. It was the day of the week that I was allowing myself to have sugar. So I was going to make this fucking count. It was going to be bunty. Okay. So this is what you do. And do you need a bundt pan? I guess you don't, but a 10-cup bundt pan is what you're looking for, by the way, a 10-cup bundt pan. Did not know bundt pans, by the way, came in cup forms, but they do. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 cups of whole milk. Marilee, you're going to be so proud of me because I'm going to give measurements today.
Love it.
I know. This is for you. So 2 cups of whole milk. You're going to go ahead and put that in a saucepan, and you're going to turn up the heat a bit. And you're going to get the milk to get kind of hot, not boiling because you're going to scald your milk. Okay. So get it kind of hot. It does need to be whole milk, by the way. And then you're going to take 4 tea bags of Earl Grey tea. Now, if you got loose leaf, it's going to taste a lot better. But guess what? I don't got loose leaf right now. So 4 tea bags of Earl Grey tea. And you're going to put those tea bags in that hot milk. Then what you're going to do is you're going to let it ride for under a minute, and then you're going to take it off of your burner, and you're going to let those tea bags continue to steep. Okay.
How long?
So the recipe says 10 minutes. I am the tea connoisseur. I'm going to tell you 5 max because you will burn that tea and you're going to get a really bitter taste of it. Right. Now, I will say this cake does have a lot of sugar. So if the tea gets a little bitter, trust me, the sugar is going to mask it. So while that is steeping, so it's no longer on heat, but it is hot milk. And while it's steeping, do make sure you stir your milk before you take off the burner, just because you want to make sure it's not burning at the bottom. In your bowl, you are going to go ahead, you are going to mix 1 cup butter and 2 cups of sugar. And you're going to go ahead, you're going to cream that together. Once that is creamed together, you're going to go ahead, you're going to take 4 eggs, and you're going to add 1 egg in at a time to your creamed butter and sugar. Once that's done, go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. In a separate bowl, you want to add 4 cups of flour. And I know this sounds a little weird, but just trust the process. You're going to add 8 teaspoons of baking powder.
That's a shit ton.
It is a lot, but you're going to add 8 teaspoons of baking powder.
Okay.
So you got that mixed in a separate bowl. Now you're going to take your tea bags out of your saucepan, and you're going to pour that milk tea mixture slowly into your butter, sugar, egg, vanilla mixture.
Question.
This slowly is because you don't want to cook those eggs that are in there. What's your question?
So this is what I would recommend. I was going to ask you if it was still hot. So if it's still hot, what I would do. It's
warm at this point. It's not hot, but it is warm.
What I would do is trickle in just like the smallest little trickle for the first few seconds and mix it in nicely so that you can temper the eggs. Otherwise, you're going to end up with scrambled eggs.
Exactly. And that's a very good point.
Yeah.
So now you have your butter, sugar, eggs, vanilla, and milk tea in this one bowl that's all mixed together. It's going to be very liquidy. Then you're going to go ahead and you are going to pour in your flour and baking powder mixture.
All at once?
All at once. Just go ahead and put it in there and then just start blending it up. I use my stand mixer. If you don't got a stand mixer, just use a spoon. It's going to be that liquidy that you can do that. I took 2 bars of milk chocolate. They were 8 ounces each. So I took 16 ounces of milk chocolate. I did chop it up and I threw it in there because if it is the day that I'm going to give myself to eat sugar, we're going to have chocolate in there. Mix it all together. Go ahead, put it in a very well sprayed bundt pan. Put it in. So I should say you should preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Put it in a 350-degree oven, and you're going to put it in there for 45 minutes.
Okay.
Take it out, put a toothpick or put a knife in there, make sure it comes out clean. Let that rest. On the side, you're going to take 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, a little bit of rum extract. And by the way, rum extract goes a long way. A little bit goes a long way. Okay, so you got to be, when I mean a little bit, I mean like a capful is going to be perfectly fine.
Like an eighth of a teaspoon.
If you think you don't have enough, you have enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to go ahead and put 4 cups of powdered sugar.
Powdered sugar, yeah.
Yep. And you're going to make this really very sweet, rummy, delicious icing. It's going to be fantastic. And when your cake cools, you flip over the bundt pan and the cake's going to come out, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to ice your cake. And bundt cakes are a little weird to ice, just to let you know. You really should use like a piping bag, or like you said, Madi, put the icing, when you and I were talking about this, put the icing in a Ziploc bag, cut the little corner off the Ziploc bag, and you just want to kind of make like
zigzag.
Thick zigzags or ribbons going across it. Again, this is a cake, though, that you can just sprinkle powdered sugar on it, too. And it'll be perfect. Slice that bitch up and eat it. Love that moment, because I can tell you that Earl Grey flavor came through so strong. It was great. And so when you think, holy Hannah, there's 2 cups of fucking sugar in this cake. So I enjoyed my slice, and then I did have to give the cake away. So that was the saddest thing ever. But that's okay. I would have eaten the entire thing, which I've done before in the past, and I do not have regrets over that. We'll watch the sugar for the next couple months. So do that. Enjoy it. It is so good. Enjoy it with coffee or a cup of Earl Grey. I had wine. So.
You know what? I think it's interesting that you paired the Earl Grey with rum, because you also have extensive knowledge on how to pair teas with alcohol or spirits.
Yes. And
what else does Earl Grey go with? Anything else?
I mean, Earl Grey is really going to go with like kind of like your rums. Earl Grey would actually go with like a darker rum. So if you did want to make like a type of drink with an Earl Grey, you want to do like a darker rum, you can actually take your Earl Grey, you can put it like in a bourbon, and you can let it steep in the bourbon for a little bit. And that's going to give a really nice taste to it. There is actually another tea, and we can get into this a whole
I love this.
It's kind of cool. There's a bunch of really cool things. There is another tea that is traditionally put in bourbon or a whiskey, and it's called Lapsang Souchong. And Lapsang Souchong is a black tea, and the way that they ferment. So black tea, by the way, is a fully fermented tea. And so when they ferment it, they actually take these oak barrels and they torch the inside of these oak barrels. So it's very smoky. And they store the tea in there.
Does it ferment in liquid or just?
No, it ferments on its own. So it depends on the process of the tea. So whether it's a Japanese or a Chinese tea, it depends on the process on how it's done. So fermentation usually lasts because the tea leaves themselves have moisture in it. And so when they're kind of drying out, they're going to go ahead and ferment. So, but traditionally you can use a Lapsang Souchong. And when you open up a Lapsang, it is extremely smoky. It's wild. It smells like a campfire. It's nuts. A lot of people do not like this tea. I personally cannot stand it.
Really?
But yeah, I cannot stand it. But when you do let it steep in like a decent bourbon or whiskey or a scotch or something like that, it is very good. So it is one of those teas that you can actually take a mediocre. It's the equivalent of, many years ago, I worked for another company, and one of the gadgets that we sold was these fired like wooden sticks, and those wooden sticks you actually put in your bourbon and you let it steep inside there. So it's kind of the same equivalent. And then, there's a really couple cool recipes on like how you can take like oolong tea, and oolong tea is a partially fermented tea. So just so you know, white tea is not fermented. Green tea is either pan fried or steamed. And then oolong is partially fermented. Black is fully fermented. And oolong tea, there's actually some really good recipes to use as a flavoring to fish. And lapsang is actually another very good flavoring to especially fish products, because it gives a really smoky taste to it. So cool. There's a lot of really neat things, and we could totally get into teas, and we could do tea cocktails and stuff like that at some point, especially as summer comes. We could do some tea cocktails, and I could teach you guys how to do some really cool tea cocktails, and it's kind of neat. So
that is exciting. That's exciting for Easter, Keith. What do you think?
Yeah, it could be something really fun for Easter. I mean, if you're stuck with your family, why not get a little
drunk, baby?
Get a little boozed up.
Plus, doesn't tea have medicinal purposes?
There's a lot of medicinal purposes with tea. Absolutely.
So, What's more 2024 than that?
We can absolutely get into that. One of the healthiest teas on the planet is a Gyokuro Imperial Green Tea.
You gotta say that slower for the people in the back, honey.
Gyokuro Green Tea. It's an Imperial Green Tea and it has vitamin C, A, K, E, B, B12, and ECGC complex in it.
Sold, motherfucker, sold.
I mean, just to let you know, if you want the health benefits of tea, you really got to drink a lot of it. Like, I think it's like 3 glasses a day for a month of that one particular tea to get the health benefits of it.
Why does everything good need a lot of like your fucking input, but everything bad, you just do it once and you're dead? Why is that?
Like, I mean, think about it. You're drinking a steeped leaf. So you're not eating the leaf. You're not consuming it. You're drinking in a lot of water in comparison. And did you know that also tea and like, I'm not going to say this correctly in the scientific way, so someone can correct us, but tea does not break down the molecular structure of water. So your body actually does, you're able to, now please understand, this is if you're not adding sugar, creamers, or things like that. If you're just drinking the natural leaf, it does not break down the structure of water. So your body does intake it like regular water. So you can hydrate off of tea, not bottled Lipton. It does not matter any of that, even the non-sweet Liptons, no, but like actual loose leaf tea, your body will absorb it as water. And last fun fact for you, microwave does change. It takes some oxygen out of your water. So you do get a flatter taste if you microwave your water. So always use a kettle to get your water going for your tea.
That last thing, I think, was just a gimmick to sell kettles.
It was not. Taste a fucking cup of tea from the microwave, Marty, and then taste it from the kettle. I will make you, in 2 weeks, I will make you tea from a kettle to a microwave, and you're going to taste the difference.
Teapot, kettle. Kettle's teapot.
I'll even make you tea in a beautiful cast iron teapot.
I think this is all a lie, but okay, I'll hold my breath.
And we can have a good tea. We can do a whole thing on teas one day if you want. And we're gonna
do that. I think it's sexy.
We're gonna have fun tea recipes, or we can have fun tea beverages, like alcoholic beverages. And we know y'all like sweets and alcohol. So
yeah, and it's like light and refreshing. I kind of, what if we made like the tea, right, into ice cubes?
Mm-hmm.
I love that idea.
On that, you can.
Like a rosé.
It doesn't like, we can go into some wines with teas also. I mean,
right?
I taint my wine, but if you have like a cheap bottle of wine, we can go into that to make it better. So we can definitely do that. But especially like a rosé. So
the whore's wine of choice.
Oh my gosh, do you know what's coming to the DC area? I used to have it in New York, Tipsy Scoop.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's ice cream with booze in it.
Oh, I don't know. It's not really, for me.
Oh, you know
I'm not the clientele.
That's because you're no fun. But walk around with that shit, you'd be hysterical.
My question is, if I snort the tea, will I have better?
No, nutritional. Don't listen to her people, please.
If I snort the tea, will I get the nutritional derivatives in a much faster pace? This is a hard-hitting question.
Stop making fun of tea. I know what you're doing. You're making fun of my tea knowledge.
I'm not. I love your tea knowledge. Honestly, I could talk to you about this shit forever, and I can listen to you because I have nothing to add to that conversation. But I find it fascinating because tea is like a whole world. I mean,
it really is
whole world.
And tea is it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can use tea to grab and go and things like that. But tea is fairly, even from iced tea to. And by the way, I drink 99% of my teas iced. 99%. I don't know if that's the South Florida in me that drinks all beverages cold.
Who's South Florida?
That was a stupid joke. That was just.
No, but I do agree. Actually, I like coffee hot, but I like teas cold.
I like coffee hot or cold, but
I hate cold coffee.
I love cold brew coffee.
My husband too. I think it's gross.
And you try a cold brew tea too.
Yeah, I can do that. And I think tea is like akin to wine in that it has so many like little intricacies and caveats.
It is. And I've been to tea tastings. I've been to professional tea tastings. I've been to the labs where they do tea tastings, and there's a whole methodology on how they do it. So it is really fun and it's really interesting. And you're right. There's a bunch of different notes to it. And there's actually a proper way how to sip it when you want to taste the different notes. You have to like aerate it in your mouth and things like that. And it's neat. It's a lot of fun to do that. So, and there are some companies that will do tea tastings. So if you guys see a tea tasting, go and try it. It's like having a wine tasting or a beer flight. It's kind of neat to go do that stuff. But this Earl Grey cake was really great. It will be made again. It was well received. I had a little get together last Saturday and it was absolutely well received. This is so fucking delicious.
yeah, try this. And if nothing else, we hope that we've inspired you to try a little tea and get a little creative around this time of year where it's like we're in the in between.
Today was in the 70s, and then later this week the high's in the 40s. So it's like,
Decide, bitch.
you're fucking hot or cold. Like, I don't care well, I prefer cold, but I don't care either one, but just be one or the other, because right now I'm in between outfits and I don't know what to do.
Eat that shit. That's like living in South Florida, living between outfits.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So go out there, get a little self-care going during this time. I'm into self-care right now.
Good, you should be. You deserve it. You're a mom. Everybody deserves some self-care a little bit.
Yeah, and sometimes like I don't think buying shit means self-care, but I think like tea is so ceremonial, even if you're just like got a piece of shit tea that you bought at the dollar store. Like there's something about it that is slow.
I think, well, the tea is slow. And so tea is ceremonial and it's meant to be. So enjoy it and go grab some Earl Grey. Just go grab it at your grocery store and enjoy it.
And try London Fog.
Try London Fog. London Fogs are good. And I have a really good, one day maybe I'll talk about a really good tea recipe I have. It has like matcha and peppermint in it, and it's really delicious. So,
all right, tea goddess. I was going to call you tea god. You're not a goddess. In fact, you're a god. Tea god.
That's right.
Okay, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this episode. I think we're going to slow down for a little while and maybe just do one episode a week. So I hope you guys are enjoying this one. We'll see what we do though, because we really literally do whatever the fuck we want. And we hope you guys enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Have a great week, guys.
Bye-bye.